So I began watching a little bit of the beginning of just Alyx's live stream that he did tonight after he did it on AEW Dynamite, the Thanksgiving Eve edition. And there was one thing that got Alyx very curious, very, wondering about what's going on. You see, he talked about basically, long story short, he talked about the fact that it seems that when he compares viewership numbers of his live stream reviews of all the wrestling he covers from WWE to AEW, that it seems that AEW is not getting that much traction anymore. And that it's not just him. It's people like Solomonster, it's people like JD from NY206. It's anybody that I guess, talks positively and praisingly, very highly, if you will, of AEW and what they brought to the table that night, whether or not it's with Dynamite or Rampage. And he brings up this wonderment because when he looks at the numbers that he draws in, and Solomonster draws in, and JD draws in, and anybody else draws in when they talk about Raw or Smackdown, the numbers are basically like night and day. In other words, Raw and SmackDown drive in the higher viewership numbers during the live streams or the pre-recorded reviews and everything, that get uploaded after the individual that's talking about Raw or SmackDown, records them and uploads them, if you will. So, the question obviously is, what's going on here? Why is someone like just Alyx or JD or Solomonster and anybody else that talks highly and praisely and positively about AEW, why are their videos or the live streams not getting, the best viewership numbers? Why aren't they reflecting, what, AEW is presenting on a daily, weekly basis? And this is just my opinion because I've talked about stuff with AEW. In fact, one of the highest viewed videos that I've done so far was when I did a review on AEW Full Gear this year, and it took off much to my surprise. Normally my reviews, for an AEW or WWE pay-per-view don't go up that much, but in this case it just went right through the roof, and and I'm very grateful for that. But the thing is, from what I can tell, and again, this is just my opinion because I'm a fan of all these guys. I'm a supporter of all these guys. I'm a supporter of just Alyx. I'm a supporter of JD. I'm a supporter of Solomonster, OTRS Central, anybody else that loves to talk wrestling and give their opinions on what's going on. I am a fan of them. I support them. But if I'm going to be, honest here, from a outside point of view, I think the reason why the viewership numbers don't reflect as much, with the AEW videos and reviews than they do the WWE ones, is not just because of the fact that WWE is the more established product, and more well-known product, that, it draws more fans, it draws more eyes to anybody talking about them, whether it's them releasing a number of a certain unbelievable amount of people from the contracts, or it's the fact that they've agreed to an extension with other people's contracts to keep them on for a little while longer, or the fact that they're doing these Saudi shows, for the next several years, or whatever the case may be. It's not just because of that or anything. It's the fact that when they look at these WWE reviews, it's not because of the fact that the product's more established. It's not the fact that the pay-per-views are more established. It's not the fact that Raw and SmackDown is more established, or even NXT 2.0 or 205 Live is more established. It's the fact that when they compare the two, when they compare both reviews of both companies and their shows, what they see with WWE reviews is variety. That's what they see. They see nothing but variety. They see, JD. They see Alyx. They see Solomonster. They see OTRS Central. They see anybody that talks about all wrestling and reviews it. They see them talking in variety about what they saw on Raw, what they saw on Smackdown, what they saw on NXT 2.0, what they saw on 205 Live, what they saw on the pay-per-views. They give them variety in their reviews. So when you compare it to, why the numbers are not reflecting, just as much as they are with those reviews when compared to the AEW reviews, is because all they hear with the AEW reviews is, oh, AEW pushed out a great show tonight with Dynamite, AEW pushed out a great show tonight with Rampage, and then the next week, AEW pushed out another great show with Dynamite, another great show with Rampage. All they hear is rinse and repeat. They don't see the variety that's given to WWE's reviews, or to the reviews of WWE's product. They don't see that same passion. They don't see that same variety given to the AEW reviews. They don't see Solomonster. They don't see Alyx. They don't see JD. They don't see OTR Central. They don't see anybody calling out AEW on some of their mistakes, on some of their negative moments or bad moments or con moments, going on right now with Dynamite or Rampage. All they hear is nothing but, oh, it was a great show. This was great. You should have saw that. You should have saw this. That's all they hear. They don't hear nothing, they don't hear nothing variety-wise. They don't, see, like I say, they don't see that same, persona, that same personality, that same, I guess, in a way, unique enthusiasm and, creativity given to the Raw and Smackdown and NXT 2.0 and 205 Live reviews. They don't see that being given to AEW, which is why, in my opinion, the numbers are dropping off. They're not showcasing, the way they should. They're dropping off, not substantially, but they're dropping off very noticeably, especially if you're doing a live stream. So, in my opinion, what these fans, would want to basically help, regain those numbers for the likes of Solomonster and, JD and Just Alyx and anybody else, OTR Central, no DQ, you name it. What they would like more so than anything is for those guys that are doing the reviews of the AEW shows, if they want to come back and help you grow that number again, what they want is the same variety of review that you give for WWE's product. They want you to basically give the AEW reviews the same treatment. Like, call out AEW on some of the bad things or some of the things you may not agree with, as well as also point out some of the good. Like, you can come out and say, yeah, most of the show was good, but here are some of the things I didn't like and I feel they shouldn't really be doing. Because, let's be honest, you can't tell me right now that people are going to be invested in a Sting, Darby Allin versus, Gun Club feud. Are they? I mean, if it's going to get over Billy Gunn's sons, that's great, but if it's going to be a match between Billy and Sting, seriously? Is anybody going to want to see that? I'm just saying. I mean, Billy's in great shape, but still. That's something people would expect maybe an Alyx or JD, an OTR Central or Solomonster or an Aaron Rift or whoever to call out, AEW for going in that direction. I mean, basically what they want is that same, like I said, they want that same kind of, the same kind of structure that they get with the other wrestling reviews. They want, they want you to look at the positives as well as the negatives, just like you do with WWE and its product, just like you would do with NWA and its product, Impact and its product, New Japan, AAA. They want you to call out the positives as well as the negatives. They want basically an unbiased opinion on on AEW, just like you give an unbiased opinion when it comes to Raw and Smackdown reviews. That's why, in my opinion, the numbers are not reflecting the way you want. Now, true, it's probably not just the reviews and analysis that people do of AEW and the numbers with those dropping off. It's also basically, when you watch it on television, it's the numbers there too. I mean, yeah, AEW on both nights, Wednesday and Friday, is doing a great job, with the viewership numbers. There's no doubt about it. But here's the thing: the reason those numbers are kind of slowly dropping off, it's not because of the fact that they don't think AEW is good. is the fact that obviously there's a lot of people that are now kind of realizing from their own point of view that AEW is indeed just a niche company that is more about wrestling than being about variety. And because WWE is such an established entity in professional wrestling, sports entertainment, people come to expect even the alternatives of AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, AAA, MLW, you name it, PWG. They expect them to, yes, put emphasis on the wrestling, but also give us variety like WWE does. I mean, WWE is the complete opposite of what AEW is. WWE puts sports entertainment first and wrestling second, while AEW is wrestling first, sports entertainment second. And the thing is, because of that, mindset, it's a good thing if you're a true blue wrestling fan and you want to just see good wrestling along with storytelling that would accompany it. But when you're putting the sports entertainment aspect of it second, that kind of will cause people to look at the company like, yeah, it's a great company and it's got potential to be better than, what people expect it to be. But if it doesn't mix things up and give variety, the numbers of the viewerships will start to drop off. Even the attendance numbers, maybe not as bad, right? Maybe not, as bad as some people might say they are or try to pretend they are. They might just, those live attendance numbers might slowly drop off too. But again, it's all because of the fact that they look at it as a niche company that has the potential to be more, but they gotta embrace that. They gotta be more. They gotta allow themselves to give that variety, to the fan, to the not just the hardcore fans, the fans and all that, and everything. The AEW diehards, drones, supporters, whatever you want to call them. But they got to be able to give it to also the casual fans. The casual fans that will check them out, but then skip maybe a couple of weeks because it's like, okay, I'm just gonna skip the next 2 weeks because it's just gonna be the same song and dance I saw before. You need to switch things up. You need to switch things up, and I think, in my opinion, I could be wrong. That's why the numbers are dropping off viewership wise, not badly or anything. Let me correct that. Correct you on that. Not badly. Let me make that perfectly clear. In my opinion, they're not dropping off badly, but from those that are not watching as much, it does say a lot. It does say a lot about the fact that, AEW, a company like Impact, like MLW, PWG, AAA, New Japan, they need to basically become more of a variety. Yes, WWE right now is not doing the best work, and they've proven that sometimes, even if they don't advertise very well, they can put on great shows, great pay-per-views. They can. They've proven that. And and heck, the recent Saudi show they did, the recent Crown Jewel show, is being heralded as one of the best wrestling shows of the year. And that's a show that not a lot of people wanted to support because of what it's aligned with, what it's associated with. But yet people praise it for being one of the best wrestling shows of the year. And it's something that you think WWE shouldn't put too much stock into, and yet they do, and the payoff was great. And people then look at something like Survivor Series this past Sunday and thinking, why didn't we see that same effort we saw in Saudi? Why didn't we see it here? And that is a good question. That is a good question, but in the long run, ladies and gentlemen, when you get down to it, when you get down straight to it, despite the fact that WWE, and I know people are going to hate hearing this, because, a lot of us, even myself, hate to admit it, when you get down to it, even though WWE will put out a crapola product at times, if not recently, because they don't know exactly where they want to go, and the fact that they're releasing a lot of talent that they could utilize to help build some things, for both their shows, even though they're putting out a crapola product right now, there's no denying that the reason people gravitate to them more is because they know what they're getting with them. They know what they're getting. They might get a repeat match here and there, if not constantly, from the week before, but still they know what they're getting. They know what to expect. With AEW, you don't know what you're going to get from one week to another, and maybe that's what's causing a detraction. Like, you know you're going to get good wrestling, but what are you going to get to go along with it? Are you going to get something that's going to keep your interest, keep you invested? Or are you just going to have, a show that's similar to the previous week, but with different kind of matches, thus resulting in people coming onto YouTube and saying, great show, great show, great show, just rinse and repeating themselves. That basically, when you get down to it, ladies and gentlemen, and I know it sounded like I rambled here, it's very late, it's about 11:47 p.m. right now on this Thanksgiving Eve as we go into Thanksgiving Day, but when you get down to it, I think it's the fact that fans know what they're going to get with WWE. And by knowing what they're going to get with WWE is the reason they tune in every week, the reason they attend every night. Because even though they know they're going to get, something similar, if not the same aim as the previous week, there's always a chance that they might also get a little bit of variety. They might get something different. And that's why they tune in. But it's also the fact that they know what to expect. And it's the fact that, as much as we hate to say it, they are the more established entity. Which is why when you do a review on WWE RAW, when you do a review on NXT 2.0, when you do a review on Smackdown or 205 Live, the viewership numbers go up because people, know the product. They know the product because it's more established, it's been around longer than AEW, and they know what to expect from what potentially will say from maybe what Alyx will point out of what he likes and what he doesn't like, or what JD likes and what he doesn't like, and OTR Central likes and doesn't like, and Aaron Rift and Solomonster pointing out what they like and don't like, stuff like that. Stuff like that. They know what to expect with that. But because when you compare it to when they watch the AEW reviews, they know they're going to expect. They know that one of the things they're going to expect is a huge heaping of praise going AEW's direction, but they also know that they're just going to hear the same positive banter, unvariety, very biased, praise towards AEW that they heard the week before. And what they want is variety. They want, the reviewers out there, the analysis out there, the fellow fans like them to come out and give AEW, like I said earlier, AEW reviews the same treatment they give to Raw and SmackDown. And that if they do that, then the viewership numbers, in my opinion, and maybe from their point of view, will go back up. That will go back up because you got their attention now because you're giving the same treatment of a review to All Elite Wrestling Dynamite and All Elite Wrestling Rampage that you do to WWE Raw and WWE Smackdown and NXT 2.0 and 205 Live. And I think that's what the real reasoning is. And the same goes for All Elite Wrestling's weekly shows on TNT, on TNT and soon to be TBS and TNT. The same goes for them. Once they start giving more variety to go along with the priority of wrestling, if you will, the more they give, that variety to go along with that the priority of wrestling, the more the viewership numbers will increase because now you're getting more than just wrestling matches on a weekly basis, even if they're different matches and all that. You're getting something that's more variety based to go along with it. I mean, let's take a look at this. Tonight, you had MJF and CM Punk in a promo off. They had a very anticipated promo off between the two. Very well done. Very well done. I will link it here at the end. I recommend you guys check it out. But it's in that promo off, if you will, that pipe bomb off, if you will, that CM Punk basically pointed out that the last time MJF was in Chicago, one of the last times he was in Chicago, he did a song and dance number with Chris Jericho. And that made the New York Times. And when you hear him mentioning that and you go back and watch it, that's the kind of stuff that attracted people to want to watch AEW and made the numbers go up, because they were getting that variety along with the priority on wrestling. You were giving a good hybrid mixture, while you were still prioritizing, wrestling over sports entertainment. You were still giving us that sports entertainment. It's just second to the wrestling. Like unlike WWE, like I said earlier, who's more about doing it in reverse, whereas sports entertainment first, wrestling second. But you kind of see what I'm saying, right? Fans want something like that again out of AEW. Give them a good mixture. You put the wrestling in, fine, but also then to follow that up, give them a little bit of sports entertainment, and they should be okay. And I think, honestly, from my opinion, and I'm sure those that, are kind of, going back and forth of whether or not they should watch AEW and give it high viewership numbers, those people that are dropping off, as others would point out, would probably agree. But in the end, though, these are just my opinions from what I can tell. These are just my opinions from what I can tell. And I think if, honestly, just my point of view here, my point of view of an opinion, I think if, in the long run, if JD, Just Alyx, OTR Central, Solomonster, Aaron Rift, No DQ, Jeff Meacham, all of them that review, wrestling on a weekly basis from WWE to AEW, if they finally decide to give AEW the same kind of fair, unbiased review, for Dynamite and Rampage as they do for Raw and Smackdown, then I think their numbers will go up. Because at least as reviewers, you're pointing out not just the positives and, the positives of AEW that you like, from, whether it's Dynamite or Rampage, but you're also pointing out the negatives, the things that you don't like, the things that you feel they shouldn't be doing, and stuff like that. So, in my opinion, I think that's probably the best solution. But again, I'm not Alyx. I'm not JD. I'm not, the Schleg Daddy, Jeff Shigo of OTR Central. I'm not Aaron Rift. I'm not NoDQ.com. I'm not Solomonster. I'm just a guy that follows them, supports them, and enjoys their work. And I'm just, looking at it from my point of view. I'm just looking at it from my point of view, as an outsider looking in. Someone that was very fortunate to have over 100 views on his Full Gear review, that I did a couple weeks ago. Very fortunate. And again, normally my reviews of wrestling or my talks on wrestling don't get that much views. Maybe this won't either, but still, I'm just saying, this is, from what I can tell, with this video of my own opinions, I'm just letting you guys know what I see and what I'm speculating could be the reasoning and what I feel could fix it. But again, I'm just, a fellow fan, someone that supports these guys, giving their own opinion on it and what they feel and speculate could help out. But what do you all think? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check me out at BW Rosa's discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also check out the Teespring store, especially with the holidays coming around, guys. Check that out for any potential gifts you want to look into for family or friends. Also check out me at BW Roses on Vimeo, and also check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses to support me with a $1 or $3 tier. Also check me out at Venmo if you want to help donate there as well. But again, guys, these are just my opinions. What do you guys think? And let me know. And JD, Just Alyx, Solomonster, OTR Central, Aaron Rift, guys, if you want to help, if you want to respond back to this video, tweet back, whatever, your opinions on what I had to say, I'd be greatly appreciated. If not, that's fine. But what do you guys think? And I will talk to y'all later.